In the year 2011, the total value of all the crops produced by the United States was approximately $212 billion. 20 million, or roughly 10% of that amount, came from one state, Iowa. The state of Iowa is home to more than 30 million acres of farmland. Those who drive through Iowa will notice the surroundings almost completely consist of wide, rolling fields of corn and soybean plants. It should come to no surprise that roughly 3/4 of the state's farmland are used to grow just these two cash crops. But do you know how much of the corn and soybeans grown have been engineered to increase their yield, or even let them create their own insecticide? As it turns out, 91% of the corn grown in Iowa last year was genetically modified. These genetically modified organisms, or GMOs for short, have had genes inserted to give crops a more commercially competitive edge. For example, certain genes can be inserted to increase the plant's tolerance to herbicides or insects. Glyphosate-resistant soybeans are a commonly used GMO that resists the powerful herbicide glyphosate. A farmer that plants these doesn't have to waste time plucking specific weeds from his fields. He can simply spray the herbicide without his crops being damaged. Over time, some weeds may develop resistance to the herbicide, such as wild parsnips growing in GR soybean fields. This problem is easily solved by rotating the type of herbicide the crop resists to combat a wider variety of weeds. Bt corn is a GMO that produces its own insecticide to combat the European corn borer, one of the most costly pests in the nation. Before the advent of GMOs, costs related to the borer were as high as $1 billion per year. Bt corn solves this issue by producing a protein that is toxic to the borer but has no effect on humans. Farmers then don't have to waste time or money on spraying insecticides. Like with herbicides, the borers can also develop resistance. This is also another easily solved problem. Farmers can simply plant small areas of corn that aren't genetically modified, so the borers that live won't develop the resistance. These were just two examples of GMOs. Many more varieties exist that have other different beneficial effects. You are probably wondering by now, okay, this is cool I guess, but what's in it for me? Are the farmers and corporations the only ones benefiting? And are we just sheep that'll eat whatever they give us? It is true that they are profiting immensely, but their success is also your benefit. Farmers spend less on herbicides and insecticides and have higher crop yields because of GMOs, and that means they save money and they can pass those savings on to you. If GMOs were never used, estimated corn and soybean prices would be roughly 6 and 10% higher than they are now. Thanks to GMOs lowering prices, there's more cash in your pocket, and that's always a good thing. And if we put that on a larger scale, that means more people will be able to afford food, and less people will go hungry. One legitimate concern about GMOs is if they're safe to eat. Many opposers of GMOs use scare tactics to try and push people away from GMO use. They might suggest that genes in the corn you eat may turn you into a tentacle monster, or that this might turn up on your dinner plate. But life isn't a budget science fiction movie. Research has been done to ensure that the products of these newly introduced genes are safe, and most have been found to be easily digested and neutralized, such as the proteins for most strains of Bt corn. There has been one major commercial incident where a type of GM corn, branded Starling corn, contained a protein that was not easily digestible by humans. Many products, such as taco shells that contain the corn, were quickly recalled, and the production of the corn was ceased. Biotech companies have learned from that incident, and since then there hasn't been a major outbreak of hazardous GM material in food. Overall, GMOs have solved far more problems than they have caused. More food is being produced than ever before. A tenth of the nation's food comes just from our small state of Iowa, the large portion being genetically modified. Future of agriculture may be GM, and Iowa will very likely continue to play a major role.